Hello everybody and welcome to another video in the Simplified opening series. Well, as fate would have it, we have a third French video in a row. And in this one, I would like to show you, one promising line that appeared somewhere around 2016, 2017, which I also played myself, and it looked like a good shortcut against the French, but one which unfortunately, as the name of this video suggests, has been refuted ever since. This whole video will also show you the depth of preparation that the best players in the world actually follow, and you will see what actually refutation means in practice. By the end of the video, you will probably have to take your decision yourselves whether to accept that this line has been refuted, or you will simply think that your opposition will not be able to reproduce the refutation and you just play this line as if nothing happened. All right, so let's get going. After e4, e6, d4, d5, the move bishop d3, a strange move, you have to admit, came to prominence at approximately this time, 2016, 2017. It looked like a pretty good shortcut to avoid all the theory after knight c3, knight d2, or even the advance with d5 and so on. I also played it myself, had some good games with it, but then, something happened. So in this video, I will show you what actually happened and why, at least for me personally, this line is no longer playable for white. So d takes c4. Obviously, there are other alternatives like c5, for example, but let's see the strongest moves for black. Okay, bishop takes c4, knight f6, bishop f3. So the idea of the line is that the bishop is actually quite good on the long diagonal. The knight will be developed to e2, the other one likely to c3, bishop e3, and white will have really good compact development in the center. So it worked like this for a while, as you will see. So c5 is the best move for black. Knight bd7 has been tried, but it's not the best. Knight e2, now knight c6. For example, other moves have been tried, like c takes d4 and bishop e7. It's worth pointing out that even Magnus Carlsen tried this line with the white pieces, even though long before the peak of popularity, let's say. For example, he played it in a blitz game against Grishchuk in 2012. So like I said, cd4, and then the end game after queen d4, let's say queen d4, knight d4 is actually quite pleasant for white because the bishop is very strong and there is an initiative on the queen side. Therefore, knight c6 is the best move, bishop e3, defending the pawn on d4. And here comes the first critical moment. For a very long time, the main discussion was after cd4, knight d4, knight e5, going after the pair of bishops. And I remember having a pretty good time analyzing these positions after knight c3, a6, let's say, castles, bishop e7, queen e2, take on f3, queen f3, castles, rook a d1, queen c7, rook f e1. So black has the bishop pair, but white is very well ahead in development. And there are quite some interesting attacking ideas here, like queen h3. Then I remember some lines with the bishop f4. The rook was swinging from e5 and somewhere to the king side. I mean, very, very interesting lines, which I analyzed, well, pretty deeply, moves 20, 25, 30, and even above. Very exciting lines. So I was really kind of pumped up when I was looking at this line and analyzing these positions. But yeah, the problematic move is not cd4, but the move knight d5. So going after the bishop on e3 if allowed. Yeah. So bishop takes d5. This was supposed to be the refutation of knight d5. So bishop d5, queen d5, knight c3, going for the development. Yeah. And it was considered that this is like taking on g2 is bad for black, but in fact it's quite the contrary. So the queen g2 attacking the rook. Now the play becomes very forcing. Rook g1 and now queen h2, just taking everything. There was a game, for example, Kramnik Caruana played in Stavanger in 2017, where Caruana was probably busted out of the opening after queen f3, knight b5. Yeah, he somehow won the game, but he was completely lost out of the opening. So even Caruana back in the day didn't look properly at this. Yeah, but queen h2 actually is very strong, taking the second pawn, and bishop f4, attacking the queen and targeting the c7 square where the knight will be coming soon. So queen h3, knight b5. And it looks, I mean, okay, black can resign. I mean, he's losing material, knight c7 and so on. But the line continues. Yeah? f6, check on c7, king f7, knight takes a8, and c takes d4. So what do we have here? Black is a full rook down. Admittedly, there are 3 pawns as compensation, and this knight doesn't look like it's going to be trapped, but things actually do work out for black. So for example, here bishop g3, e5 is already much better for black. Good advantage. There is threats like bishop b4, bishop g4, and black has excellent compensation. Actually has an advantage here. So knight d4 is the best move, but now bishop b4 check. c3, bishop takes c3. So you see how forcing this is and how deep it goes and how it requires memorization and also work. But the objective truth is that this works out very nicely for black. And the problem for white is that he can't really avoid this line. And as you will see, I mean, I will conclude the analysis now. It all ends in a perpetual check. Well, I mean, from an objective point of view, it's a dead end for white. So bc3, queen takes c3. Now king f1. I mean, after queen, bishop d2, queen takes d4. Black already got the piece back that he sacrificed on c3. Still a rook down, but after bishop e3, queen e5, let's say rook c1, g6, I wouldn't be too comfortable playing with white here. I mean, the knight will be lost on a8, and black will have a light piece and 4 pawns for the exchange. White may try to kind of create some play, but this is not what I would be comfortable getting out of the opening with the white pieces after such forcing play. So king f1, yeah, then knight takes d4, rook c1, queen h3 check, rook g2, and now e5. And it turns out that even though still being a rook down, black has pretty comfortable equality here. Yeah? Rook c7 check, bishop d7, bishop e3, rook a8. Now already it's an exchange and 4 pawns for the rook. And after bishop d4, e4, queen d4, it appears that white is taking over the initiative by attacking that bishop on d7. But after queen h1 check, rook g1, queen h3, actually the game ends in a perpetual. White cannot avoid the perpetual by going rook g2, queen h1. If the king steps on the e file, there is queen e6. And then again, if the king steps on the second rank, that the pawn on e2 is falling. And if, let's say, queen e3, queen d5, and now rook e8 is a threat. And king d2, queen a2, king c1, queen a3 is a perpetual check. So it's move 28 by here, yeah? So you see, this is a type of modern preparation which refutes lines. So this is how lines are refuted nowadays. There would be a long variation, very complicated, very complex, eventually ending in some sort of a dead equal position or perpetual check or after some wild complications. But this is the objective truth. So what remains for the player, and this is normally true for professional players, top level players, they would just simply memorize all this. And they know that if their opponents go there, they'll just make a draw without making a move on their own. So upon discovering this, well, I have to say that I was disappointed, because I really like this idea of going bishop d3 against the French and obtaining less common, let's say, French positions. But, well, I got to use it in a couple of games, but then it was just short-lived. And then I just couldn't bring myself to play it again, simply knowing all this. However, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's up to you really to decide whether this is something that you would be willing to risk if you play bishop d3, or you simply think, okay, nobody on my level will be able to reproduce all these lines. I can play bishop d3 if I want, and I'll be fine, because even if this happens, it's draw at worst, and okay, I mean, they'll kill off the game, I'll make one draw, and okay, what to do, yeah? But basically being confident that the opposition at your level would never ever actually be able to reproduce or memorize all this. So you can say, even if it's objectively refuted, you can play this well, without any worry. Obviously, provided you like the line and the other lines after bishop d3. So there you go. Refutation. Yeah, what it means, refutation in modern chess. Well, this is what it means. This is what engines actually allow us to do in many opening lines, and this is what professional best players in the world actually do. They dig up all these lines and then explore them until the very end. And that's how lines cease to exist at the elite level. But as I said, lower levels, it may have no impact whatsoever. So I'll conclude with this. Thanks guys for watching. If you like my content, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I hope that by the time you see this video, I will have crossed 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that will be a great milestone. I thank you all for support. Hope I continue to grow my channel and you continue to like the content. And also, if speaking of content, you may want to subscribe to my Substack weekly newsletter. Every Saturday, you will receive some thought-provoking article on chess, also linked with the video released on that day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Cheers.